about fears. Let's talk about love. Yeah, I got fears, but I ain't got no love.
But there is an FBI agent or a former FBI agent, I guess, who's made some claims that the father who is giving this information of one of the Idaho victims, I didn't read it. I searched for it. I got a couple comments about he's blaming the father for the killings. I hope I misread that. I hope I misread that. I hope that whoever sent me that is misinformed. And hopefully he's blaming maybe the father for not allowing police to do their job. Because that's the only thing I could see. But I went into the father's frustration yesterday and how I understand that. I don't understand why he wants certain things let out into the public, but if he feels, hey, this isn't working, whatever you're doing right now, release this stuff so maybe something else can come in. Hey, I get that frustration. I don't agree with doing that, but I understand. Now, if this former FBI agent is saying that they should be looking at the father for this murder, I don't know what words I have for that. If he truly said that, other than despicable, maybe. Maybe it's somebody who's trying to push their own narrative. I mean, I don't know this guy. Listen, just because, and this is very important, just because somebody's an ex-FBI agent or a current FBI agent does not make them a good investigator. It doesn't even make them a good person. Everybody is different. Just as because I'm a former detective, well, I won't say a former detective. It's just like a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I feel once a detective, always a detective. But former law enforcement, you shouldn't trust everything I say just because of a title that I held in the past. You have to look at each individual person as an individual and on their merits, their character, their integrity. That's how you can believe and start listening to what people have to say. I think of the guy who worked the same position I did, I think. I was with the FBI task force for 2-3 years. I worked undercover, but it was Violent Streets Task Force. So I was assigned to the FBI, okay? I was a local police officer assigned to the FBI. That's what I did. Now, I think this Cameron guy who did the show, Eddie Edwards, it was him or something like that. It was the most ridiculous show I've seen in my entire life, where they said Eddie Edwards, where he believed, this FBI task force former detective, that Eddie Edwards was responsible for John Benet Ramsey killing, the Atlanta child murders, Lacey Peterson, the Black Dahlia, O.J. Simpson, wife Nicole, all of these cases. It was the most asinine thing I've ever heard of. And I felt so bad for him. At the beginning, I wanted to be angry at him. But then I thought, if this is what he really believes, and he's making these connections, remember, you can make connections to anything. That's why you have so many Zodiac suspects. Because everybody can place something with somebody or a crime. It's not hard to do. So, just because he was a former detective, worked in FBI task force, you shouldn't just believe him. Okay? I think it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. And go back and watch my video on it. It's called Eddie Edwards, I think. Yes, Eddie Edwards was a murderer, and he might have been a serial killer, but he's not responsible for every infamous crime from the Black Dahlia all the way up to John Benet Ramsey and then some. It's ludicrous, and people like that shouldn't even get their 15 minutes. But hopefully that's all he got. And hopefully if this FBI agent, former FBI agent, is selling this to the news, I mean, I know his name because he was quoted in the same news article that I was for, I believe, Newsweek or Fox News. I'm not sure which one it was. But as I was reading the article, his name was in there. And it didn't mention this. It was talking about hair follicles or fingerprints being destroyed by cold weather, which I think is ludicrous too. And that's another thing, is these experts, they need to stay in their lane, bro. You know what I mean? If you don't know what you're talking about, and because the news reaches out to you just because you have a website or you have a title and you're selling a book, and they start asking you questions that you're not an expert in, don't do it. You make yourself look like a fool. Good example is Newsweek reached out to me yesterday or the day before and asked me to comment on some power plant where these guys broke in with a gun or whatever. And it was in North Carolina or something. And he asked me to give my opinion on it. I was like, yo, I have no idea. I don't know. I know nothing about it. It's not my area of expertise. I'm not going to comment on it. Now, there's other people who would have jumped all over that. Oh, shit, Newsweek getting hold of me. That might be my launching point. Or whatever it is. Listen, just stay in your lane if you don't know. You know what I mean? Now, maybe you think you know. You know, then that's fine. You put it out there. People will obviously find out for themselves whether you're credible or not. But if this guy is saying that the father is responsible for his daughter's and 3 roommates' death, unless he really believes it, and even so, if he does, he would probably need his head examined. But that just shows you that, you know, just because you're an FBI or former FBI agent doesn't mean you know anything. Do you have concerns about your personal information being exposed online? Information such as your home address, date of birth, voting preferences, and more readily available with one search. DataSeal is the comprehensive data removal service I trust. I use it. So use the link below to receive 5% off of your DataSeal subscription and protect your family.